Hello, I'm Fred Bimber with TC Taxpayers for Justice. We encourage you to vote yes on both City Proposal 1 and City Proposal 2. Each of these proposals deals with tax increment financing plans, or TIFs. Proposal 1 provides that voters must approve any new TIF or any extension of an existing TIF before the city can adopt it. Proposal 2 deals specifically with the city's biggest TIF, TIF 97, which covers the main downtown area. Proposal 2 says that the city cannot extend TIF 97 without voter approval. TIFs work by diverting city property taxes and other property taxes on certain properties and diverting those taxes to another purpose. In district TIFs, the taxes are diverted to a TIF fund that is administered by the Downtown Development Authority, the DDA. In brownfield TIFs, the taxes are diverted to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority and then directed to subsidies for individual developers. Brownfields began as a taxpayer subsidy to deal with contaminated property, but they've changed a lot. Today, most of the money flowing through brownfield TIFs is a subsidy to an individual developer for normal costs of development. The TIFs we have in Traverse City have grown enormously, and they have increased our property taxes. Right now, if you're a city property taxpayer, your city property tax rates are 20% higher than they could be without the TIFs. Let's go over how that happens. In the last fiscal year, 23-24 fiscal year, the city's budget required $13.9 million of net property tax revenue to fund the general fund budget. In that year, the city's TIFs diverted $3 million from city general fund tax revenue. This meant that the city had to raise $16.9 million of property tax revenue in order to net $13.9 million for the general fund. To do that, property tax rates were raised throughout the city, and the property taxes were more than 20% higher than what they would have been without the taxes diverted by the TIFs. That's where we stand today. Our city property tax rates are more than 20% higher than what they could be without the TIFs. And the property taxes diverted by TIFs grow relentlessly. Due to the formulas that they're based on, they grow each year, and that has become a big problem. Adding new TIFs or extending existing TIFs will only further increase the amount of property taxes that are diverted by the city's TIF programs. In our district TIF programs, most of the tax revenue that is diverted comes from city tax revenue. Everything else that gets diverted by our district TIF programs, NMC, Beta, the library, those all together are less than what we divert from city tax revenue. On brownfield TIFs, the city tax revenue diverted is still a significant part of the taxes diverted. But despite this problem, despite all that we have diverted by city tax revenues, the DDA that administers district TIF funds wants to extend TIF 97. Let's look at a couple of graphs related to this. Our first graph is a line graph in which the orange line shows how the money diverted, the city tax revenues diverted by TIF 97 have grown so far. In the first 26 years of TIF 97, the taxes diverted grew from zero to over $2.1 million per year. Let's look at our second graph. This bar graph shows in the blue bar that in its first 26 years of existence, TIF 97 has diverted a total of $17 million of city tax revenue. The red bar, drawn to scale, depicts the $121 million that the DDA projects that TIF 97 would divert from city tax revenues in the next 32 years under the plan to extend TIF 97. Let's compare these two numbers. The taxes that would be diverted in 32 years under an extended TIF 97 are 7 to 8 times as large as what TIF 97 has diverted from city tax revenue in the last 26 years. The effects of that on city finances would be enormous. Property tax rates will increase even more, and there will be problems funding city services. We can't afford an extended TIF 97. However, unless proposals 1 and 2 are passed, it's very likely that we will see the extension of TIF 97 by the end of the year. TIF 97 was approved, the extension of TIF 97 was approved by the DDA in mid-August, and they sent it on to the City Commission. It will take the City Commission only about 6 weeks to act on it from the time they decide to do so. They have so far not yet scheduled the hearings for this, probably because of our pending proposals, but it's important that we pass both Proposals 1 and Proposal 2. Passing Proposal 2 will only get half the job done. We could still be subject to new TIFs added on the burden that we already have. The DDA claims in some of their leaflets that you've probably seen that if Proposals 1 and 2 pass, city taxpayers could face property tax increases. That's false, and nothing about Proposals 1 or 2 would lead to that. Proposals 1 and 2 only provide that we will vote on the extensions of TIFs, and we will vote on any proposals to add new TIFs. Proposals 1 and 2 do not change any existing TIF, and they do not change any existing cash flows. The DDA opposes giving us the right to vote on TIFs. They say these are too complicated. Voters wouldn't understand it. Voters would have to read large documents. That's all nonsense. We already vote on tax proposals of similar complexity. In August, we voted on a multi-million-dollar bond issue for TCAPs, and most of us voted on that by informing ourselves about the material features of what was being proposed, what it would cost, and how long the increased taxes would exist. We can do the same things with TIFs. We can vote adequately on TIFs. We're adults, we can handle it. We face important choices about how heavily we're willing to tax ourselves and how we want our tax money spent. Let's pass Proposals 1 and 2, vote yes on Proposal 1 and yes on Proposal 2 to give us the right to vote on TIFs and have more control over our taxes. Thank you.